cunts, don't forget to click the subscribe button. 2 more fucking maids. There's certain things that I just won't do. And but I saw him, and he looks happy doing it. And it's, he's 40 years, almost 40 years younger than I am. It's a new generation. But he's not the 50-50, 50-50 kind. And I know that there are families that share responsibilities in the home 50-50. I know where I don't have to ask you. I don't even have to ask you. Huh?
You. 0.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah. But when you tell a young audience, I've changed 1 diaper, and they all go, and then you say, I've washed no dishes. Ever.
I don't believe that.
It's true, I have never washed a dish.
I believe that. Army?
Yeah, huh?
In the Army, no?
No, I was an officer. I mean, the officers don't fucking wash dishes. And when in college, there was one guy, and we had a Chinese roommate. He was like a fuss budget. He always dusts and clean and shit like that. And we had to get him a box. He was so short, we had to get him a box so he could cook the food on the stove. I mean, I never, none of that. Now I've dug latrine holes in the Army, shit holes. I've done that. But the kids today, and maybe it is a 50-50 world now. Certainly not by my standards. And I'm not saying it's because it emasculates you, excuse me. But it does. You wash dishes and clean toilets. Who normally washes dishes and cleans toilets? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Who? And in the back of your fucking head, you know it. Somebody once asked me this 15, 20 years ago. How toilets get clogged up, right? And you're supposed to go get a plunge. I don't know what you do, but like a plunger. Well, that's fine. Well, she'll take care of it when she gets home.
And your kids see that as well.
That's exactly right.
My wife has never cleaned a toilet in her house, ever. Who cleans it? Maid. Fuck, I have a person that works for us all day long. I will never allow it.
So, and I can see the looks on some of your faces. I'm pushing some buttons, and now I'm not going to get into who's on top. But there's a whole theory about that. Who's on top? Having sex. Hunter? See my picture up there? I was born 40,000 years too late. If Playboy here had him, I just hit him in the fucking head, kill him, and drag the woman off to the cave. That's it. No, don't fuck around. But when you tell university students shit like this, they go, vicious, savage, like the Hat. But that's who I am. That's who I am.
Well, wait, what's the on top theory, though?
You didn't hit him hard enough. No, the woman is on the bottom, the man's on top. Some women like to be on top. And ride that. You got it? No, he does. He's still.
I get it, though.
Now, Raymond.
Is he a Mormon?
I'm from Utah, so.
Fuck, okay, explains.
But you're not a Mormon.
No.
No, okay. Mormon women want to be on top. But that's a whole other thing. Okay, we got off track a little. Ty, you did it again. You were able, I'm a focused guy, but you were able to get me off on a tangent or 2 or 3 or 4.
Having fun.
Yeah, having fun. Sally, if Sally was here, she'd be poking me and saying, what about, because I'm leaving off some of the details that don't support my ideas, needless to say. And she would be there to remind me, and what about that? And what about when you did this for this person? But she's not here, so I can get away with even exaggerating more than I normally would. You had a comment.
I was going to ask about the management agreement.
Okay, yes. Okay. So frame the question, and I'll answer it.
Okay, so currently we went from a stock purchase to an asset purchase, which means we have to wait until our licensing comes in.
Oh, God, I just had a horror story. A deal just closed. The deal closed on April 1. And you know how they tell you 30 days, 45 days you can get the light for health care? Today. April 1.
It's supposed to be 6 weeks.
Well, this is California. April 1 to today. How many months is that?
Like
8 months.
yeah.
And the money, they had a structure, a special thing, because they were running it, but they weren't able to receive the money. Okay, so when they tell you it's 6 weeks, have them show you 3 deals that did it in 6 weeks. If they say 30 days, show me the last couple deals, 30 days. Show me. I'm from Missouri. You got to show me. And I just got done reading it. April 1 it closed, and the deal finally got registered or transferred, or whatever the right word is, this week. And that's only because the guy went into epileptic. Now, he didn't really have an epileptic fit, but he went, I'm going to sue this, I'm going to sue this, I'm going to sue the state. And then all of a sudden, because they were going to wait till next month, because nobody wanted to work right now, and he got it signed. Okay, so now you take over healthcare deal. There has to be licenses that are transferred. Not in every healthcare deal, but most of them. And substance abuse in certain states in the United States are harder because there are doctors involved, or nurse practitioners like Jessica is, or just simple licenses. But the management agreement, you should be able to run the business, but the argument will be who keeps the cash, because you haven't paid for it yet. And the bank won't release the money. So the bank is keeping the money. Now, the seller almost gave up on the buyer 10 times in the last several months. And why not? I mean, you promised to buy my goddamn thing 7-8 months ago, you idiot. And so you're gonna have to juggle and keep the seller motivated. And while they may have been motivated on April 1, they're a lot less motivated today. And they had to pay extra cash. So in about the 5th month, they had to start paying $20,000 a month, additional sales price. Now, you don't want to do that, right? So that's why you have to be careful. So, but the management contract, and the lawyers know how to write them up, have to allow you to be able to run the business. But the bank's not going to release the money. The banks will not release the money. Because if you don't get the license and they release the money, then you're screwed. You're screwed. And I've only had one deal in the last 10 or 15 years that the licenses didn't ultimately get transferred. Didn't ultimately. Because they normally do, but it can take up to several months. And the election time is a bad time in states if they have state elections, because everybody's trying to get somebody elected. In foreign countries, election time is also a bad time because people lose focus. And Brexit has given the people here the reasoning, the rationale to not get things done. Because they're afraid of how Brexit will affect their business. But the lawyers will understand that you have to be in control. You have to be in control. And you don't want to work your 6 months, not have the ability to pay yourself, because no money, even on a seller finance 100% deal, okay? How are you going to pay yourself during those months? Now, some of you got money, so that's not a concern. But it is a concern because how are you going to get involved in another deal or two while this one, isn't done? Now you can't use this one as a transaction example that I completed because it hasn't been completed. And some banks will just pull the plug.
In that case, in that example?
Pull the plug?
No, the 8 months.
Yep.
Was it a management contract issue or something else?
No, they had a management contract. But I mean, nobody was getting paid because the bank wouldn't turn over the money for the purchase. And the guy's not going to turn over the business unless he gets paid. Even a dumb lawyer won't do that. Lawyer representing the sellers. But I mean, shit happens. You never know. You just never know. And but I was happy to see this finally closed. Of course, the guy has been like, not a nervous breakdown, but I mean, say that he was stressed is an understatement. And then all the naysayers, the wife, the children, the parents. What about this deal you said was closed? He's living in a motel down next to the property in Southern California. He didn't buy a house. Well, if the deal doesn't close, why am I moving here? And it goes on and on and on. But the stuff that wore him down more, I believe, is that everybody telling him he was a dipshit. Doesn't sound too intelligent, does it? But it happens. And there's certain states that it's tougher. New Jersey's a motherfucker is one of them. California's not easy. But there's some states that, I mean, it's just, they're used to,
There's a lot of states you can use bureaucracy also.
Pardon?
You can just pay people off in some states
Oh,
to get things done quicker.
What's
the backhand is alive and well. In southern Florida, the backhand is alive and well.
Sure is.
especially in New Jersey? What is tougher, the licensing?
The licensing for like substance abuse licensing, you have to take a test. Okay, now most, I'm told, even a mediocre healthcare professional can pass a test. But you're not a healthcare professional. Now you could pass the test easily, but you're not a healthcare professional. So now you're going to have to gear up and go back to school and study. And if you're motivated, you'll do it. But some of you will put the license in somebody else's name. But then that other person has more control, and they're going to want money, and they'll stick you up. Of course, some of you will use your mother-in-law. What are you looking around? But you should have the license in your name, or the healthcare professional that's part of your equation. The healthcare professional that's part of your equation. So did I answer your question?
Yes, and then I have another concern.
Okay.
So when you're, we know a lot of problems are that they have problems with marketing and they don't grow their census and all that. What if you come in on the management side and you grow this company, and what's the risk that you've heard of them just taking off? Because that's something
It's high.
that brought up.
Because now you showed them how to do it. You showed them the secret sauce, and the reason, majority of the reasons that they were selling is they weren't making enough money. And now you've seen uptick of 50% or whatever you do, and then fuck, I didn't really want to, I'm only 56, I could probably work another 6, 8 years, and then they didn't want to sell it.
So just try and keep it as
You just
flatline
wanted,
as possible.
flatline is dead.
Well,
Yeah.
a nice steady
To us healthcare professionals,
plateaued line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they still call flatline dead?
Yes.
Okay.
So don't improve too much during the management.
The operative thing is you want it to be a short period of time. So you do everything humanly possible to get it done quickly. And that normally means you hire somebody to go to the state capitol or wherever it's done and get it done. But you're trying to save money because you're running out of, your credit cards are maxing out, and you don't want to send somebody to the state capitol. And normally it takes a couple of days, and it's going to cost $500, $800, $1,000, which you don't have. And so you decide not to do it, and then it takes 7 months. And I don't like the online in this. The results are instantaneous. So I send somebody to where the building, where the person's sitting that gets it done. And I just stand in line until I get there. And then when I leave, I've got the license in my hand. When I leave the license. And of course, I know you don't believe this, but I can make a scene. I can empty out a restaurant, a 3 Michelin star restaurant, in 3 minutes. The entire fucking restaurant. And then, of course, like Sally says, my reputation is now, I used to be invited to the first meetings, but now I'm not even invited to first meetings. They just, they don't, for some reason, I don't understand why they don't want to meet me.
I don't understand why.
My reputation precedes me. But I go a lot less meetings. But in your case, you go to every meeting. Every single solitary meeting. And if your CFO or whoever says something, what he meant to say, and you straighten out right there. And will it be embarrassing to your CFO? Yes. But you don't want to leave them with the impression that the deal is something other than what you said to begin with. And you prep the CFO, you prep the industry expert. You remember, I've told you, it's like a politician. He's got 5 or 6 bullet points, right? Talking points. And those are the answers to all questions. Well, what time is it? Well, the board has taken the decision. Okay. What month is it? Well, the board is saying that it's the same answers. And, but you say it smoothly. It's not like you're reading something. I told you about the Chinese kid that wrote stuff on his arm in English, tattoo on his 2 forearms. One of the slides that you got or should have gotten in the last seminar, and then he decided to do the roll-up in China, and he could never wear a short-sleeve shirt because the Chinese people want to know, how come there's all this shit in English on your forearms? So he just wears long-sleeve shirts now, and but he's doing the roll-up in China. Did I answer it, Jessica? Yes, sir. Other questions? Tonight, dinner's in the castle, like we're dressed. Like sex, it's coming out, all coming at the end. For those of you, that means at the end is when you normally climax. It's right at the end. For those of you that don't get that, you got it?
I got it.
Thank you. Locust, you got that?
Yes, sir.
Is that what happened on the plane? When she took you down, she dragged you into the bathroom.
I know. I don't travel with Air India.
Oh no, you don't travel in Air India. Okay. You raising your hand?
I have a question on
Okay.
the Samurai Fund.
Yeah. So what?
Samurai Funds?
Oh, Samurai Fund. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Samurai Fund. Yeah, that is something that I don't know if it works, but I'm reading it. But one of the recent both seminar and hardcore thinks they have discovered a new source of funding, non-recourse, international. But I'm going to look at it tonight. I'm going to before I get everybody excited about it. I told you what the name of it was earlier, but which the World Bank and the IMF and those international funds are coming up with ways to get the money out the door, and they're shoving the kids harder than the kids are shoving them the last few business days. They just are. And it's hard to get a return phone call during these last few days of the year. For you, it's hard. There's not many emails going back and forth these last few days, right? No? Well, the squeaky wheel still gets the grease. And yes, you have to be obnoxious. And yes, you have all those words. I don't consider it obnoxious. I just consider it straightforward. And the Onassis people, you say, Mr. Peña is the most candid man in New York City. They like to call my abruptness and pushiness my candor. It is candid because I'll tell you if you're an asshole if I think you're an asshole. If that's being candid, then I guess I'm candid. Okay, if there's nothing else, goodbye, YouTube.